If not for God, Emeka would have been buried that night. They would have said it was a heart attack. They would have blamed stress or maybe poison. But the truth, it all began the moment he let his eyes wander where his heart didn't belong. This is the story of a man who almost died because of lust. Listen carefully and learn. Emeka was the kind of man many envied. Smart, gentle, well-dressed, and focused. He worked as a branch supervisor in a microfinance bank in Lagos, lived in a modest 3-bedroom apartment in Surulere, and had a wife that could make any man proud. Her name was Emeka, a teacher and choir leader, humble, respectful, and prayerful. Together, they had 2 children, both in primary school. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. Every morning, Emeka would kneel by the bed and pray, "Lord, keep my husband safe. Let him not fall into temptation." And every time she prayed that line, Emeka would smile and say, Emeka, temptation kwa? You don't trust me again?" She would only smile, shake her head, and say, "I trust you. I just don't trust the word." Little did they both know, those words would soon prove prophetic. It started one hot Tuesday afternoon. A new client walked into the bank, tall, light-skinned, with curves that could make a saint blink twice. Her name was Tonya. She had come to open a business account, but from the moment she smiled, Emeka's professionalism began to melt like ice under the sun. "Good afternoon, sir," she said with a voice that sounded like soft music. "Afternoon, madam. How may I help you?" "I'm new in Lagos. I need a reliable bank. And maybe someone I can trust to guide me." That someone was the bait, and Emeka beat it. He helped her fill forms, offered her tea, and even followed her to the car park to ensure she was safe. Tonya smiled, handed him her card, and said, "You're different. Most bankers are rude. Let's stay in touch." That night, when Emeka tried to talk about their children's school fees, Emeka wasn't listening. His mind was far away. Replaying Tonya's smile, the calls began innocently. "Hi, Emeka. Please, how do I transfer funds from the app? Can you help me check if the account is active?" But soon the tone changed. Late-night chats, compliments, pictures, and then lunch. Tonya was intoxicating. She knew what to say, how to laugh, when to touch his hand. Emeka told himself it was harmless, just friendly, but lust is never harmless. He started spending longer hours at work. Emeka noticed the change. "You don't pray with us again. You hardly eat my food. Is everything all right?" "Emeka, I beg, must you always suspect me? Work is just stressful, that's all." He didn't know that every lie he told built a wall between him and his home. And behind that wall, lust began to grow roots. One night, Emeka had a strange dream. He was in a hotel room with Tonya, laughing. Then suddenly, the lights went out. He heard a woman crying. Not Tonya, but a voice that sounded like Emeka's, whispering, "Don't go, don't go. She's not human." He woke up sweating. It felt so real that he prayed briefly and went back to sleep. The next morning, his mother called out of the blue. "Emeka, my son, I had a dream. A woman is trying to destroy your home. Be careful." He laughed it off. "Mama, please, not those your dreams again. Everything is fine," but everything was not fine. Tonya had started asking for money. Just small support. And Emeka, blinded by lust, kept giving. By the 3rd month, he had spent over 400,000 naira on her. He started borrowing from his savings. He began lying to Emeka about office projects. Lust had turned a disciplined man into a fool. One Friday night, after a company hangout, Tonya sent a message. Maybe come over. I cooked your favorite. Emeka hesitated. It was already past 10:30 p.m. Amaka had called earlier, asking when he'd be home. He told her, soon. But the devil never says, be quick, go home. He always whispers, just one last time. Emeka drove to Tonya's flat in Lekki. She opened the door, wearing a red silk nightgown. Music played softly in the background. Perfume filled the air. He knew he shouldn't stay, but his body betrayed him. They drank, laughed, danced, and soon clothes began to fall. Then suddenly, a knock, loud, angry, persistent. Open this door, a deep voice shouted. Tonya froze. Jesus, my husband. Emeka's heart stopped. He was trapped, half naked, shaking. You're what? He whispered. I'm sorry. I didn't tell you I was married. Before he could react, the door flew open. A huge man stormed in with two others. One held a cutlass, the other a phone with camera light on. So you're the banker sleeping with my wife. Hey! Emeka fell to his knees, begging, Sir, please, I didn't know she was married. Please. But the men weren't listening. They beat him mercilessly, recorded everything, and warned him. If you go to the police, this video goes viral. They left him bleeding, humiliated, and trembling on the floor. When he tried to stand, he realized his car keys were gone. And so was his phone. That night, he almost died. Not from their beating, but from the shame and fear that followed. Around 3 a.m., Emeka staggered to the roadside, half-dressed, bleeding from his mouth. He tried to flag a taxi, but no one stopped. He sat by a gutter and cried, not from pain, but regret. God, why did I do this to myself? A passing Okada rider eventually helped him get to a clinic. When Amaka arrived at dawn, she almost fainted, seeing her husband bruised and broken. What happened? She cried. For the first time in months, Emeka told the truth. Everything. From the first chat with Tonya to that dreadful night. Amaka didn't say a word. She just wept silently. Then she held his hand and whispered, You're alive. That's all that matters. But never again. For weeks, Emeka couldn't sleep well. Nightmares haunted him. He lost appetite, weight, and confidence. He resigned from the bank, joined his church's men's fellowship, and began to rebuild his life. One day, he met an old friend who said something that hit him deeply. Emeka, the devil doesn't show you the grave at the beginning, only the pleasure. From that day, Emeka made a vow to guard his eyes, his heart, and his marriage. He became a mentor to young men in his community, warning them about the dangers of lust. He told them, a single night of pleasure can destroy years of peace. Be wise. The moral lessons. Lust doesn't come with horns or fire. It comes with perfume, smiles, and promises. But behind it lies emptiness, shame, and sometimes death. Emeka learned his lesson the hard way, but you don't have to. Guard your mind, respect your vows, and never forget that what glitters is not always gold. If this story touched you or taught you something, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every week we bring you real stories that teach real lessons about life. This was the night that almost took his life. Stay wise and stay alive.